This is Craig from Waterfalls of Tasmania, and what I want to show you today is one of the most wonderful resources that we have in Tasmania, which is this map system put out by the DPI-PWE and the Government of Tasmania, and it's called The List. It's a map system that I often use for helping me discover places to explore in Tasmania and places that I can hike to without any issues. So to get there, simply go to your web browser on your computer and go maps.thelist.tas.gov.au, and it'll load up this map system, which more or less works like Google Maps, which we can scroll in using the sidebar here or by using your mouse to scroll in and out as well. And we can discover different places and different map systems right across. By zooming in, it will load up new map layers and map tiles as well, so we get finer detail. My internet connection is playing up today, so it's a little bit slow. But as you can see here, down towards Hobart in Glenorchy, you're starting to see some very, very good detail of the different region. So let's scroll back out and grab Tasmania. Now, one of the other things that we have with this map system is we have the ability to search. And by using this orange box area called Maps, this icon here, which is a magnifying glass, is the search button. So let's type in Liffey Falls. And once I type that in and press enter, it'll zoom into the area where Liffey Falls is. This little red button, this little red circle is highlighting the waterfall feature, which is the last waterfall along this river. It's called Liffey Falls. Let's close this box there. So it's actually quite handy to find road systems. Here we've got Riversdale Road on how to drive to the top of the car park and walk our way down to Liffey Falls. We can also see for Liffey Falls here, there's an alternate track which starts up here. It's a much bigger walk, but just off Bogan Road, we can walk all the way down to Liffey Falls as well. So these maps are fantastic for not just finding ways of getting to waterfalls, but also locating other areas of interest. As we can see over here on this particular creek, there's a little waterfall feature here, or cascade feature here, that for some people would see on the maps, would think would be great to explore. Now, one of the problems that we have in Tasmania is that there are some areas which are private property and some which are public property. And unfortunately, just looking at a map like this one, or at a TasMap that you might buy at a hiking store, we do not know if those places are public property and private property. Thankfully, this map system that's put out by The List does have the ability to add layers, which will help give us the information that we need. So let's find out, for example, if this waterfall feature here is publicly accessible or not. Now, before I add this layer, I should mention that there are many countries around the world where there is right of access to waterfall features or mountains, as an example, which may be located on private property. This does not exist in Tasmania, and often it's quite ambiguous whether a waterfall and a river system is publicly accessible. Some rivers in Tasmania are accessible. For example, I live on the South Esk River, which is near Trevelyan Dam in Launceston, and on either side of the South Esk there is Crown Land access where people can publicly access right down to the river edge. However, not every creek and not every river system in Tasmania has that. And so if that river is flowing through private property, then that area is private property. And accessing that area would be trespassing. So let's find out if Coal Mine Creek, as an example right here, is private property or not. Easily done. Click on the layers button, which is on the top right hand corner here. And it opens up this sidebar, which will then list in this white box here any layers you have added to the map. As we can see, other than drawing tools, there are no layers. So click on the orange button that says Add Layer, and it'll open up this box which is called Manage Layers. Now, to find the layer that we want, which would be called Land Tenure, we need to go to Cadastre. So expand it by clicking on this arrow here, and it'll open up all of these different layers that we can add to the map. What I'm interested in here is Land Tenure, because Land Tenure will tell me what the tenure of that area is that I want to explore. So clicking this green button will add it to the map. And instantly, it's added land tenure to my sidebar, and it's changed the map to show me all these different colors. But what does that mean? So let's expand the land tenure again by clicking on this arrow, and it expands to different colours. By clicking on the map now, we can see that every time I click on the map at a certain point, it opens up this box to give me some information. But this is pretty useless unless we can see the topographical map underneath. So how we can sort this out is by using the transparency layer of the land tenure to start to see the underlying topographical map bleed through. We can extend this all the way to 100% so we can see the topographical map. But the beauty of having the land tenure on top of this map is that we still have the click events to find out what's going on. So let's zoom in to Coal Mine Creek. And if I click on this waterfall here, it tells me quite clearly that it's private property. Private freehold means private property. It's also showing me the boundary of that particular region as well to show me whether it's private property or not. Clicking on other areas of the map will instantly tell me any areas. As example, this is Crown land, which means that is public land. Likewise, if I go back to Liffey Falls and click on Liffey Falls itself, it's telling me that it's on the state reserve, which is public property. There are many waterfalls across Tasmania which the land tenure is ambiguous. Here's one that I found on a map quite some time ago, which is called Pet Falls. Now, I found this on a topographical map I purchased in one of the hiking stores. That topographical map is called TasMap, and they've got a little advert down here on the website, TasMaps. What TasMaps don't tell you is whether that waterfall feature is private property or not. So again, if I want to use the land tenure layer, it's clearly showing me it's yellow, which is here private freehold. But if I change the transparency so I can see the underlying features, clicking on Pet Falls here will definitely tell me it's private property, which means that unless I'm able to contact the landowners and see if they'll allow me to have access, this is a waterfall which I basically is illegal for me to visit. So then I know not to go there. So I do recommend people use this as a resource when they're exploring Tasmania, whether it's waterfalls or hiking opportunities or any places that may be of interest to you. Use this as a resource to help you discover areas that you can visit and areas that you should probably avoid. Anyhow, that's it for me. If you have any other information or questions that you wish to ask, you can find us on the Waterfalls of Tasmania Facebook group, or alternatively, just leave a comment in the YouTube video below. Thank you.